Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today we have a video from Rex Gaming. Definitely go subscribe to that channel on the 3 new Division games that are dropping in the near future, and I'm pretty excited about this. I had fallen off pretty hard with the Division 2, but as a lover of the Division 1, I really desperately want to come back to this franchise because it's one that I absolutely love, and hopefully either the Division 3 or Heartland, or maybe even Resurgence, ticks the boxes that I'm personally looking for with the Division, but I just want another massive looter shooter in my life. But Heartland I don't think is going to be that. I believe that's going to be more a survival game, so we'll have to wait and see, but let's check out the video together.
Did you know there are 3 brand new Division games in the works? The Division franchise has always held a special place in our hearts on the channel.
Same,
and
actual.
It probably does for a lot of you guys as well,
Yep.
and you may even be one of the OGs that discovered the channel during the time we covered those games. We
That's
absolutely
me.
loved the Division, but we didn't quite like the way that Division 2 changed things, so we didn't end up playing it or covering it for quite as long. But with the
That's the same thing that happened to me.
that we've built around the Division, we're always hoping it makes a comeback. And with the news of 3 new
Facts.
games in development, we hope that these next games can head in the right direction. So let's go through what each of these 3 games are, and you can let us know how you feel about them.
I'm not as hyped about Resurgence
Division,
personally
or are
because
you
it's a mobile
completely
game.
out at this point? So the first game that's probably the furthest along in development, as it recently had a beta test, is the Division Resurgence.
This one I'm
This
super
is a
excited
mobile
about.
version of Division, and it's actually super impressive just how close it looks to the original game in both its features and visuals. You can see that Ubisoft is really
This is
trying to
captured
broaden
on
the
mobile
franchise
device.
as they're making the game free to play as well. This one will feature a whole new storyline and will take you on the role of one of the first wave of Division agents through the events of Division 1 and 2, but from a different perspective. It doesn't initially
Oh, wow.
seem like a cut down mobile light game as well. As
Yeah,
we've
that's
seen a lot of features that you
not
can
probably
also
not for me,
expect to
but
be in the full
interesting
game,
they're telling
such
the
as the
same
Dark Zone,
time frame
different
story.
multiplayer modes, and a full open world. It is looking like a
Could be
pretty
interesting.
cool thing, and it does look impressive as we have said, but I don't know if personally a mobile version of Division is something that I was looking for, because I normally like to sit at my console or PC and grind the game out. So
Same.
let me know what
That's
you think
actually
about
me
this
too.
one, and you can sign up for the beta now on the website if you are interested.
Maybe I'll do
On
so.
to the next game, this
This
more
one,
of a
I'm really
traditional
hyped about.
console and PC
It's
style
different,
Division
but
game.
I feel like
But
it
this
could be
time
really
it's
cool.
also going to be free to play, and the gameplay will be more so focused on the extraction part of the game.
Yes.
Think about the Dark Zone, but it's expanded.
The
to
survival
full
mode is what I would
size
compare this to.
One of our absolute favorite parts of the Division in its heyday was the release of the survival mode.
That's
as
what-
that
yeah.
DLC had an epic theme of an
That was my
extraction
favorite
and
mode in
some
Division
really
1,
intense
outside of
player
Dark Zone.
interactions, especially towards the end. The developers have said that Heartlands are building on top of that idea with more open world missions and activities to do. The
Yeah,
whole
I'm really
description
looking
of
forward
the
to this.
game
I think
is
it'll
in a
fit
single
perfectly.
play session, you can experience both the challenge and exploration of daytime and the thrill and intensity of nightfall. While
Interesting.
exploring during the day and completing critical objectives, scavenging for materials and supplies, you can face off against dangerous enemies. But when day turns to night, the stakes heighten and new enemies start appearing. You must avoid
That'll be
the
really cool.
increasingly volatile contamination, fight your way through rogue NPCs, and take on newly hostile enemy players. It's certainly
This looks
nice
pretty
to
cool.
see them
I'm
building out
definitely
on
in.
the Dark Zone gameplay. We know it's a bit of a love it or hate it thing for gamers, as some of you really don't like the PvP aspect of it, but there are a lot of players that do love that intense.
So that's the key to this, and I like that they're making this free to play and separating it out from the Division 3, because I feel like there are a lot of people that just can't stand PvP. They don't want to play it. They don't want it to be have any impact on their own personal gameplay if they're strictly PvE players. And so having this satisfy the itch for PvP players, whereas we've seen from the Division 1 into the Division 2, PvP has never been properly balanced. And so I wonder if they'll make the Division 3 PvP be less necessary for certain things. You won't get as good rewards or whatever the case may be. That'll be really interesting, because I do also think that PvP and the Dark Zone helped the Division 1 in its success. There was a lot of reasons why people stuck around during slower periods, lack of content, just to play PvP and challenge their skill against other players. So I'd be very curious to see how that all shakes out.
gameplay that comes with a high-risk, high-reward feeling. It's always been crazy to us that Massive haven't fully capitalized on the full breadth and width of what the Dark Zone gameplay can be, and essentially fumbled the bag as Dark Zone and Survival were both very positively received, but then they let other games expand on this formula and turn into something like Escape from Tarkov, which has grown huge in popularity. So as a fan of PvP
I'm definitely
games
feeling
and
that.
extraction games, if done correctly, I'm kind of hyped for this one, and it'll be super interesting to see if they can pull it off, as the Dark Zone has always been super fun and intriguing, but I always felt just could be executed better.
I agree.
Doesn't currently have a release date, but it will be releasing for consoles and PC. Now, we won't blame...
Heartland has been rumored to be coming out sooner than later. There were a lot of people talking about it possibly stealth dropping sometime between January to March of this year, which would be very, very interesting. I don't know if it's that far along. It's already been delayed previously, and for me, I definitely want to get hands-on with it as soon as possible, but it has to be done correctly, and they can't rush it. If they rush it out the door, we're going to have a lot of issues with Heartland, probably.
You if you've missed out on it, but the next game is Division 3. It was announced, but in a very under-the-radar kind of way.
This is very hype.
Tweets and short videos with the developers. This is probably the project out of all of these that we are most excited for, and we really want to see Massive take their learnings from the first.
I hope they
improve on them for this next iteration.
Really improve upon Division 2
game at the moment, but let's go through everything we do know. The reveal of the Division 3 wasn't a straight-up announcement with a reveal trailer and all of that, but more so a reveal that the head developer has been appointed for the Division franchise. So here's the man himself to talk about it.
My name is Gene Garrity.
All right, what do you have to say?
I've been at Ubisoft for around 25 years. I've worked in many different studios, from Shanghai to Lyon to Massive Entertainment in Sweden now. And I've worked on many different games, but mostly within the Tom Clancy brand, from Splinter Cell to Ghost Recon to The Division.
Yeah, and so what is this new position?
So this new position is executive producer on the Division brand and franchise. And basically what it means is that I'll be in charge of the coherence of the brand and the quality of the projects that we release, whether it's a video game, on mobile,
That's
on HD.
probably why Heartland got delayed too.
As you said before, you worked largely within the Tom Clancy universe, but I still have to ask, why The Division?
You know, simply because The Division is one of my favorite games of all time. It's my comfort food.
The first one was phenomenal.
Also incredibly fun to work on. So, you know, this is an incredible privilege for me to be able to continue working on this with all of the incredibly talented teams around the world.
Now, there's one more piece of news in that press release. What exactly can you tell us about The Division 3?
So I can say that I'm going to oversee the development of the Division 3, which is going to be led by Massive Entertainment, where we're actively building a team.
Okay, makes sense.
So from this, it seems like the game itself is probably in the ideation phase.
Yeah, it's very early on. We won't see it for several years.
Started, so it's probably going to be a while away. At this point, because it's so early on, we're hoping that the game will also go back to Division 1 in terms of its ambition. Division 2 always kind of felt like Division 1.5 rather than
I can see that.
Things that would make Division 3 a big win for us is definitely to have a very cool setting. Even returning to an expanded New York would be pretty cool in our opinion. Of course,
I want a new location, to be honest.
Feel unique and fun to play will be important as well, but also abilities that are super impactful and fun to use. I remember builds back in the Division 1 would go pretty crazy if you had enough tech, and we do hope that they expand into the Dark Zone with more players, more risk, better.
You definitely gotta let people
it would be super interesting to know what
get their wild builds together.
These Division games, and what it would take for you to get into the Division 3.
And that's the end of what they had to share for us. I am very excited about Division 3 and Heartland. Division 3, the problem is it's so far away. The landscape of gaming is likely going to change quite a bit before we do get that in hands, whereas Heartland is much sooner. And I feel like the video game atmosphere is calling out for a more casual, friendly survival shooter than Escape from Tarkov. Hopefully Heartland is that. I know Marathon is coming out as well. It's some other extraction shooters that could be interesting, but overall, I'm just not sure which one of these projects is going to bring me back into the Division franchise, and I hope one of them does, because it was once in my top 3 favorite franchises at the time, and since then has really fallen off because of just the struggles that I've had with really getting hyped for the Division 2 in the same way as I was for the original. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Do you feel the same way about the Division 2? Are you looking forward to any of these 3 games more than the other? If so, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more Division content from me in the future, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. My name is Jopa. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all later.